and Sky was the byword for state-of-the-art coverage, the best analysis, and a drive for the kind of standards few around the world could match. And I was proud of the fact that I'd been there from day one, alongside a small band of people who'd been tasked with revolutionising the way television fans consumed the game. Frankly, at that stage, Sky was untouchable. So the FIFA gig was a handy distraction, a break from gunning up and down England's motorway network or flying out to Europe for Sky's Champions League coverage almost every other week. It also helped that Sky's lead commentator, Martin Tyler, was doing a lot of the heavy lifting with the commentary on the FIFA matches, whilst another great friend, Alan Smith, was the pundit alongside Martin. The three of us were part of a tight-knit Sky team, so this was a bit of a busman's, a few days away from the grind, but still doing the job that we all loved. Not that I saw either of them, as they'd recorded their parts in different studios on different days. Basically, Martin's commentary on a fictitious match would be simply driven by the whims and tactics of a gamer, and every now and again, when an incident demanded, he would throw to me, down on the virtual sidelines. My pre-records would fit in with whatever injury or tactical shift the game threw up, and my character would then hand back to Martin. His response every time would be a swift, "Cheers, Geoff." Cheers, Geoff. 2 words, a mere 2 syllables, but they would come to largely define me for the next 15 years. Forget all the big-name interviews, the magnificent drama of the Premier League, the World Cup and Champions League finals. I'm now as well known for a catchphrase from a computer game as I am for doing my day job for 30 years, despite not actually having ever said it myself. Mind you, FIFA is not exactly any old computer game, more a global phenomenon. Sitting down to write this book, I googled it quickly, and the numbers are astonishing. My musings on groins and hamstrings, substitutions and virtual pitchside observations have been heard by more than 300 million people who've bought the game over the years, and Cheers Geoff has actually entered the Urban Dictionary, defined as a method of marking the moment when a person makes an unwanted or otherwise unnecessary remark which adds nothing to the conversation or is completely unrelated. Thanks, Martin. There were a few other phrases that resonated with gamers. Even now I still get sent images of gruesome injuries, gunshot wounds or car crashes with the message, "He's picked up a bad injury, but he's a tough cookie and I think he'll be able to carry on." Another go-to line. But it's Cheers Geoff that truly resonated. Now, it's got its own Facebook page. People have made T-shirts with it emblazoned across the front. Or somebody with far more time on their hands, that is healthy, frankly, calculated that 25% of the replies to my post on Twitter merely consisted of those 2 words. 15 years later, it's a rare day when people don't shout it to me in the street or when I'm in football grounds up and down the country. I was even sent a photograph of somebody who's had it tattooed on their backside. The players got in on the act too. I'd noticed the sneaky little grins as I was interviewing them post-game and about to hand over the Man of the Match award. I'd pass over the champagne, statuette or whatever, and there'd be a little moment, a beat before "Cheers, Geoff," and they'd be scurrying off back to the dressing room, giggling away like school kids who had got one over on a supply teacher. Up until this point, I'd been gently mocked by friends and colleagues for another phrase that Sir Alex Ferguson had coined. His last words to me after virtually every interview, and there were probably thousands over the years, seemed to be always, "Well done, Geoff," as if I'd just passed a test, which in a way was fitting, because dealing with Fergie was always an examination of your credibility as a reporter in his eyes. More on Sir Alex later. I love the fact that Cheers Geoff has become something of a signature because it wasn't planned, it took on a life of its own, and it's always said with a smile. It's also part of what has been the most memorable 3 decades of my life and career. A career that has taken me to every continent, to the very heart of football, where I've met the most inspiring characters and made the truest of friends. It's not always been easy or straightforward. There have been times when my physical and mental health have suffered, when I feared my career was over before it had barely begun, and when I've made mistakes which still leave a chill hand on my spine when I recall them. But looking back,